Well, all right, it's Freedom Friday. You know what it is, you know what time it is. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I'm so excited about today. Y'all see who I got on? Yeah, it's getting ready to go down. You know what we do. Holla at us in the comments so that we can shout you out this morning. Hi, Anna. Hey, Retta. Listen, so excited to have this opportunity. You guys, we are live from Ludwigsburg, Germany. Yeah, I'm a little hype about it just in case you cannot tell. Hey, Mara, just in case you cannot tell, a little excited about it. Outstanding mom of 8. Good morning to you, y'all. It's 7 p.m. where we are. And here's what's so cool here. They celebrate Christmas on the 24th. So it's Christmas here, and we're getting ready to sit down and have our Christmas dinner. And it's getting ready to go down. So we're going to knock this out right quick so we can get our grub on. I hope you are having an amazing holiday weekend. It's getting ready to go down. I have with me today the one, the only favorite baby boy. Yes, he's the only baby boy. Because see, that other son, he's the center child. Yeah, not a middle child. He's a center child. So I have the center child. I have that oldest son, and I had a favorite baby boy. Yeah, so the favorite, oldest, favorite. Y'all catch on. Y'all know what I'm saying. Welcome, as they say here, Yona Radabaugh. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for doing. What's up, Neon? And his boy, Nuna. Welcome. Thank you for doing this with me.
No problem. I'm glad to be of assistance.
Yes, he is being of assistance, y'all, because he's in the other room, and I was like, hey, you want to be my guest? Because you remember we did this. Yeah, Celebrity on the Line. Remember we did this back in June. I'm going to show a couple of the comments too as we're going, so they can see. Hey, Shani. We did this back in June. We had a few difficulties, but we got it did. So I promised you a follow-up, and look at your girl making good on it. Yeah, it wasn't really me making good on it. It was really God making good on it, but he just let me put my name on it. Yeah, I got to put some respect on his name. I got you. So we are going to talk about his career and all the things that he's doing here, but I have a very specific something that I want to talk about. Let me see. Oh, I got to put this comment up. Wait for this, Jonah. Here's this comment. I taught this man how to shoot. No lie. Now he's a pro. Well, you heard it here. You heard it here. Y'all, that's the recording artist, Dion Bam Bam James. He is the recording artist of Real Me. And what's the other one? You Got It? I think that might be right. Hey, Myasia, throw us some links in the comments, you guys. Dion, drop that in the comments so they can go follow your boy, Mr. Dion. So listen, my particular reason for wanting him to do this was not just because we're here, but because I'm here getting to watch him live his dream, right? And so I started thinking about, last week I talked about giving yourself a gift for the holidays. So I'm back with another gift that you can give yourself. Listen, let me tell you, give yourself the gift of dreaming. You never know where you're going to land, where you're going to end up. But a lot of times people are afraid to dream because of stuff that other people said, right? If you know what I'm talking about, holler at me in the comments. I was told when I was little by certain people that I couldn't do some things. Like, she's never going to be any good at that, or you shouldn't let her do that. I even had one particular person who was part of my family say to another part of my family, you should just give that girl back. She ain't never gonna be anything. She gonna be just like her folks. She ain't gonna never achieve nothing. She gonna never be anything. Turned out my folks was pretty dope. They was kind of cool. I don't know what she was tripping on, but I was told that I couldn't do some stuff. So I want to talk to you about giving yourself the gift of dreaming. The gift of dreaming. Jonah, did you always want to be a, let me just say it, y'all, a pro basketball player? Did you?
Yeah, I remember like growing up because we played all those sports and everything. I always wanted to be, in my heart, I wanted to be a pro basketball player, but because we played so many things, I didn't know if I was gonna be like the best at basketball or if I would have liked football more or baseball or soccer, whatever it was. I didn't know what it was, but I knew I wanted to be a pro athlete and I you know, but I always knew I wanted to be a pro basketball player. Like no matter what, when it was football season, I was outside shooting hoops. When it was basketball season, I was outside shooting hoops. When it was baseball season, I was outside shooting hoops. So that's what I always wanted to do that. I may not have said that when people asked me, but that's what I knew I wanted to do.
And was there, I can think of one thing, but was there anything in particular that made you ever feel like maybe you wouldn't be? Like maybe that wasn't something you could accomplish?
I just remember I was always, me and Hannah were twins basically when we were growing up, and I was always so much smaller than everyone, and Hannah's 2 years younger than me, and we were the same height and wearing basically the same clothes and stuff like that. So like things like that where I knew it's a sport that's it takes being physically gifted in the first place. I didn't know if I was gonna have that, and so that was something that was always on my mind. Like if I would ever like, it didn't really matter how good I got if I didn't get those other pieces, like growing a little bit and
Yeah.
just like becoming smarter and things like that. Things that take you to the next level. Like I could be super good, but if I'm 5'5", like pro teams don't want a 5'5" player on the court. They just don't want that. So it
Right.
was always things like that that made me think like I don't know if I'm gonna make it. Like I can do everything I can do, but I need other pieces to fall through at the same time. So that just my physical build up as a kid, even up until probably till I was like 17, is when I hit that growth spurt and finally started growing. But like up until that point, I was always the smallest kid, the skinniest kid, the shortest kid and everything. So that
Yeah.
that always had some doubt, had put some doubt in me. And it made me want to play football because you didn't have to be a certain height to play football. But I wasn't as good at it. I didn't love it.
Yeah. Yeah. And see, and that's one of the things that I do remember is the fact that you hey Dr. V, Merry Christmas. The fact that you were great at football. I mean, and I'm just not talking about happy birthday, Deshaun. I'm not just talking about from a mom's perspective, because mom think all her kids are great. And they were, and they are, and do. But you were so fast when you played football. You didn't have height, and like you said, you didn't need it. You were super fast. But something that you just said that really sparks my mind is that you didn't love it. That you didn't love football. Like you played it. So why'd you play it if you didn't love it? Like what was the
I
rationale? Hey,
I
Deuce.
enjoyed it. I enjoyed
Yeah.
it, but I just never, it was just something different to me when it came to playing basketball. Like I just knew
Mhm.
that I like had fun playing it, but it wasn't what I liked doing the most. So I would
Yeah.
still, I would go out and I would play the games and dad would tell you I would fake stomach aches and not have to go to practice sometimes. I didn't want to play football all the time. Like I wasn't as interested in it, but I would still do it because I know you guys like watching me do it and Jared and Jordan did it all the time. So I would do it and play with them and it's not like I enjoyed it for the most part. I just didn't, there was something different to me when it came to
Yeah.
playing basketball. Like I could do that all the time and never get tired of it ever.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So we have Miss Nunn on. You guys, Miss Nunn, I always want to say she was a teacher, but she didn't teach. She wasn't one of your teachers, right? Miss Nunn was,
No, she was. She was.
she was a teacher. What was the subject? Do you remember?
Yeah. It was I think it was a history or like a US like geography class or something like
Okay.
that. One of those
Now,
classes.
Miss Nunn has had all of our kids at some point, had some sort of relationship with them, interaction with them in school, and she has always encouraged them. So I wanted to put her comment up, and thank you so much for joining. Um, AP US History. There we go.
There it
She
is.
said, I remember having this conversation with him about football. And look at what God has done. Olivia said it's different when you love it. That's a fact. When you love something, you can be great at so many things, but when you love something, you just can't let it go. And no matter what people say, you have to do it. Like it's something like for me, reading and writing, I can do all day, every day because I love it just all day, every day. Even when, like, for my dissertation, I had this 100-page paper to write. And I was thinking, who got 100 pages of stuff to say? I did and still do. But I loved it so that it wasn't something that scared me from continuing because I loved it. And I love the fact that you were the smallest in the house. You were it. You guys, we
Yep.
had we had the four rats, we had our bonus babies, we had Livy, we had Dion, and Jonah was easily the tiniest person in the house, even with a baby sister. But what I love is you always had a courage when you hit the court. And it was when you hit the court, it was like watching Livy sing, watching your brothers be quarterbacks. It was like watching Dion do his thing now, or Hannah to hit the dance floor. There was a change. You hit the floor and you were somebody totally different. You were not the little
Hmm.
brother that they complained about. You were not the little brother that got on their nerves. You hit the floor and you were a basketball player, period. There was no mistaking it. And I love that you hit the floor and did what you did, regardless of what the crowd was saying, because there were some times where they underestimated you. They didn't see you coming. What was that like for you when you realized that you were being underestimated?
It's there's something about like just being the smallest like person like at home and everywhere I was the smallest person, but then I go out there and I'm playing against kids my age and I'm still probably the smallest person, but in the back of my head I'm like I know I have a chance. Like and I know these people they see this short kid with this like this little like almost bald head like they see this kid and they don't think much of it because I'm not 6 foot in the eighth grade. They just
Right.
they didn't really think much of me. So every time I had that chance to go out there and like just like prove to you that I belonged, then and at the same time I'm proving to myself that I belong. And that's what it's about for me all the time, even now. Like I don't care if you think that I belong, or I don't care how well I play, and you can tell me all day and night, like, oh, like Joni, you're so good, you do this and that, but it doesn't matter until I can tell myself like you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and you belong here. So that's always what it's been about for me, is proving to myself that I can do this, and I'm here to do this, and I can compete with all of these people no matter how big or small I am, or any of those things like that. Like no matter what God has gifted them with, I'm gifted with the same things and different things that make me who I am. So I'm just every time I go out there, I'm proving to myself that I belong, and that's all it is. Is I want to prove to me that I'm here for a reason, and I can do everything that you can do, and sometimes more. So
There you go. See, and who knew when you were little that this is where we were going? I had no idea that this is where we were going, but like you said, God put gifts in you and God knew where you were going. Shout out to our pastor, Pastor Kennedy. Holla at your pastor there, Jonah. She is on today. Holla at
Hey,
your pastor.
Pastor, what's good?
There you
Oh, sorry, I was thinking that's what it is. But hey, Pastor, I'm glad
go.
you're getting to see this.
So I was really thinking about, as we've come here now, here we are in Germany. You are playing pro basketball. If you could tell like a little Jonah, if you could talk to Jonah when Jonah was like, I don't know, middle school Jonah, like
Hmm.
sixth grade Jonah, what would you tell him? Like, what advice would you give sixth grade Jonah?
I would probably just say like, like it's I know it can get discouraging, and I know there's days where you don't feel like this is, like whatever you're doing, like if you're having fun with it, keep doing it. And I know it feels like there's days where you don't belong here and you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, but you know, everything that I was doing back then has built up to what I am now and what I'm doing and who I am. So I would just tell that young version of myself to keep going and don't let what other people think like frame anything about you. You're your own person, and it doesn't matter. Truly, it doesn't matter what they think. And once I learned that growing up, that it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks, like I truly moved on and just like making my goals and setting out and doing things that I wanted to do, because I don't care what you think about it. It doesn't matter unless you're making the decisions on if I'm gonna make it to where I'm gonna be. So whatever you think about me, it doesn't matter. Whatever they say about you, it doesn't matter. Just keep living for
Mhm.
you, and you're not living for those people. You're living for you. So keep going, because there was many times where I didn't think I would ever be in this situation that I'm in right now. There's still times right now where I didn't think I would be here, but everything I was doing back then, I just needed to keep doing what I wanted to do and not what everybody else wanted me to do and wanted me to be. I just had to do what I wanted to do. And I'm sorry, I've been thinking about this. This is why I was spaced out when you told me to say hello to Pastor Kennedy. When you said earlier, like, was there ever a time that I didn't think like I would be here? And it was like, I remember in high school, one of my really good friends that I played basketball with, he said, we were talking about like after high school, like, what are you gonna do? Like, go to college and do all that stuff. And whenever they would ask me, I'm like, bro, I'm trying to be a pro. Like, I don't care about any of that stuff. And one of my good friends was like, for him, he wasn't speaking on my situation. He was speaking for him, and he said, I kind of had to realize that going and playing in the NBA or being a pro basketball player, that's like it's not real likely that that's going to happen. Like the chances of that are super slim. So he like was telling me about his plan to go to college and do all these other things, because that it wasn't that high of a chance. And there was that at that time too. I started to think to myself like, wow, like he's right. The chance of me making it to where I want to make it is super slim. And like I just at that moment I started thinking like, wow, maybe I should just go to this Division 3 college that wants me to play JV, so I
Mm.
can just get an
Yeah.
education and move on with my life from there. But I decided still in that moment that like that wasn't good enough for me. And I still remember that to this day, that like he was like, hey, like I might not make it here. And I realized that might not make it here. But in my head, I was like, I'm going to make it.
Yeah.
I'll worry about that stuff. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But right now, I'm going to make it. So that's what I'm working for. And I wanted to say that again, because I missed that when you had asked the question.
And there is that slim, and we always knew this with all of our kids, that we said you need an education because you always need a plan B. You always need to have something to stand on, but never saying to them, you can't do that. Because you're not going to play basketball when you're 60. And if you do, I mean, he's a bad guy. Maybe you will. But we wanted to make sure that you had something else to build upon so that you could be productive and take care of yourself and all of those things, but never ever saying to you, well, the chances are slim, so that's probably not going to happen. So blah, blah. Those were not conversations, because who can know the mind of God? I mean, what I look like if I had said to you, Jonah, you are 2 feet high. You are never going to be a basketball player. You better take your behind the class. No, I just started with the take your behind the class part and took it from there. We didn't address any of that other stuff because we never wanted to, your father and I, we never wanted to crush your dreams. We always wanted you to dream. And listen, those of you that are on here, and I'm hoping you're going to share this, give your children and give yourself the gift of dreaming, because you don't know what God has planted in their hearts. I didn't know when you were inch high, Jonah, with a little pacifier in your mouth and curls that went forever, what you were going to be. But there was never a time where I felt like saying to you, Jonah, look, this is just not going to happen. And you guys, Jonah was a walk-on at a D1 school because he refused to take less than that. Man, what was that like? That piece of, because I remember you going to like a practice, a shoot around or something you had to go to before they gave you the spot, like that summer.
Yeah.
What was that?
I had to go to, they basically had like open gym and they were playing pickup like with the guys who are already on the team. So I had to go to that and play with those guys, like, juniors, seniors already, like,
College juniors and
yeah,
seniors.
adults playing basketball, and
Adults.
I was a 17-year-old kid. And so I had to go to that and play with them and against them and do all those things. And I still remember thinking like how like outmatched I was, but at the same time, like, it's amazing that I'm here. Like I'm
Yeah.
getting this opportunity in the first place. But those guys they were all so good and mature and all of those things. So I was just trying to keep up the whole time. And that's what pushed me, is I drove all this way. Like I got out of school at 3 o'clock, left, got to UNC at 4 o'clock and had to play pickup for 2 hours. I'm like, man, I'm not
Wow.
doing all this for nothing, just to be some other kid that's come through here for one day and then he's gone the next day. And I was really just pushed by the opportunity that I had and to not be mediocre. I wanted to, and that was again me thinking like I want to like meet the expectations that these people have set for me already. And once that pushed me for a long time, I was just, all right, these guys, I can't have them thinking this kid sucks. Like we don't want this kid sucks. Can't have it.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
that happened, it would have been, the dream would have been dead already. And in one day it would have been dead like that. So I let that thought in my mind just push me over and over, day in and day out, that I had to impress everybody next to me the whole time. And that eventually turned into me impressing myself. Like, hey, look how far you've come just by
Yeah.
not trying to, the fear of being mediocre.
I love that. I love it. And you guys, we try to do about 30 minutes here. So we're gonna get down to this piece right here. But let me say, Sharetta Scott is on, Jonah, and her son is a boxer. He is a tank. You hear me? He's about that. And she said, I understand the gift of dreaming and not stealing the gift from your kids. I love the fact that when I see her post, she's pushing him. She's telling us what's going on with him, and she's always hyping him. And we've always tried to make sure that we did that. But I've also seen you, listen, I'm getting to that, Dr. V. I've also seen you do that for other people. Like I've seen you push them and tell them, hey man, you got this, you're gonna make it. And part of believing in your dream is sharing in other people's dreams, because you need people that will back you, that will help you. Because yes, it's important that you get it, but sometimes you get tired. Sometimes you get a little down on yourself. And it's so important to have dreamers in your corner. People who can't dream should not be in your corner. Folks who can't dream for themselves should not dream for you, because if they can't believe it for them, they can only believe for you so far. So it's important to have people that are pushing the dream. Let's see. Let me put this comment up. But let's go with this one. The fear of being mediocre. Man, that's huge. That right there is a book. The fear of being mediocre. I love that. That is such good advice to another dreamer, not just to a young person. And then let me put this one up. Jonah, the faith pusher. That's what we doing here today, y'all. We're pushing faith. And Retta's son is a professional boxer. Whoo, he's 6-0.
Yeah.
You don't want it. I love it. So now here you are. We're in Germany. You are a professional, an actual, legit professional basketball player. How you feeling?
I feel
Is it
great.
real yet?
Yeah, that's the crazy part because being in Germany still isn't enough for me. And I still have days where I catch myself like, hey man, like you're doing what you wanted to do. Like we gotta
Yes.
appreciate it, like relish in the moment sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But there's still steps that I want to take and still places on the ladder that I've yet to get to. So
Yeah.
I'm my hardest critic and I'm always like, hey, like you're doing good, but we got more that we got to
Mhm.
do. So sometimes it's that mindset and other times it's like, hey man, I know this, like I know there's so much more that you want to do, but like live in this, like what you're doing right now, like you got to take these moments in because like you said, I'm
Yes.
not gonna be playing basketball when I'm 60. Like I got to take these moments in that I have right now and just like appreciate what I've done and how far I've come from being that kid in sixth grade who was faking stomach aches to not go to football practice to now I'm across the world. I'm all the way across the world playing
Yeah.
basketball, doing what I love, and that's the only thing I have to do is play basketball. That's it. And that's exactly what I wanted for myself 15 years ago. So
I
it's
love it.
that that's what it is. You got to live in it. And I try my best to do that sometimes, but other times I got to get back to work.
Right, right. So you have to have the balance. You have to have the balance and the discipline for your dreams to come true. You've got to balance those, enjoy the moments with get to work. Yeah, I have some days where I'll be like, you slacker, get your raggedy tail up and get to work. Yeah. Well, I'm so glad to be here. You guys, Germany is beautiful, but it wouldn't be anything without my son, right? I came to see the boy do what he do, and I got to go to a game. I cannot begin to explain, Jonah, that moment for me because I had picked up my phone and I was getting ready to record a play or something. And I stopped and I just put my phone down. And I was like, I don't want to see this moment through the lens of a camera. I want to be present right here and see you do what you do. I mean, I can tell folks later he hit the three-pointer. I don't need proof of it. I get to be right there and see it and be in that moment. And man, it is such a good feeling, even a greater feeling for me to see you realize your dreams. I mean, I've realized some of mine and I'm not done dreaming. And I often say, God ain't done, so I'm not done. And I just believe that for you, that God is not done. But in the meantime, I'm loving watching you do what you do, realize your dreams, and to be able to witness it because witnessing you do what you do, whether you know it or not, it's a faith push for me. It's a faith push for other people to see you're on the other side of the world doing what you're doing. Retta said, getting paid to do what you love. Hello, slide me some coin. I'm about that. That's pretty tight. And you get to do that and just enjoy life. And you guys, we have come to the realization that Jonah is a whole entire person. Y'all, he has a beautiful fiance. We love her. He has his place. He was rolling around in his little Range Rover or whatever yesterday. He gets to walk down the street and like his picture is up in the middle of the street. I'm gonna post some of those. That was pretty dope. And just a whole entire grown man with his own everything who has gone from this little bitty person that people were underestimating. We were at those games where they didn't know until he touched the ball that they were in for a whole bunch of trouble. They even called him a ringer one time, y'all. He was like 2 feet high. And these folks got into a fight at the game. I'm talking fist fights. Okay? Fist fights. Because they said Jonah was a ringer. He was itty-bitty playing up and giving them kids the business. And now, baby boy is a whole person. Oh, so excited. Oh, the shoes. Oh, we got to talk about the shoes. Thank you, O'Hara. Y'all, listen. I had a God moment yesterday. We were walking around looking for gifts for my mother-in-law. And Keith said, there's a card store down there. Let's go into that card store. And we walked up on it. We don't even know if it's the same one we were talking about. Y'all, we get into the card store, and on the door frame that goes to the inventory, like to the back of the store, was a picture of Jonah. Right? So there's a team picture, and then there's Jonah up there. And I pulled my camera out and I went to take a picture. Well, the man who owns the store was behind that door, and it's like a half door like this. So he saw me taking his picture. He comes out and says to me, do you know them? And I said, and I was waiting on a moment to be like, well, yes, I do. I said, yes, that's my son. And he said, who? And I pointed, and he goes, Yonah? And I was like, yeah, Yonah's my God. Right? And I was so excited. And so I don't even know how the next moment happened, but I'm assuming she's his wife. She comes from behind that same door, y'all, with a pair of Converse, and the Converse have Jonah's picture on them. Right? I have been talking since I got here about getting my own custom Converse because my girl Anna, Jonah's fan, Anna, I got to show y'all Anna's, where'd you go, Anna? Let me show y'all Anna's comment while I'm talking about it. Because of Jonah, she practices basketball every day. His game inspires her. This girl lives here in Germany, and she is the fan. I got to meet her. It was dope. She had a custom pair of shoes. I was a little jelly because I was like, hold up. I want some shoes. We are in this store. The lady brings the shoe out and asks. So now they're asking, like, how long are you going to be here? We can order you a pair. Turns out the guy, the owner of the store, takes pictures at the game. So the pictures on the shoes were pictures that he had taken. He drives a fan ride. So he has Jonah's picture along with the team, but I just see Jonah. Jonah's picture on the side of his car, right? And he's like, so how long are you going to be here? Oh, that's not long enough for us to custom do some shoes for you. His wife says, try these on. Y'all don't play with me. The shoes were my size. The only pair that they had was my size. Listen, God set that moment up. Who knew that when you were itty bitty Jonah, a ringer, folks weren't sure about you, that we would be in Germany on this date at this time for this man who is a fan of yours and the team to hand me a pair of shoes custom made in my size. Y'all don't tell me God won't do it. I've been dreaming about getting those shoes the whole time we was here. And God already had my shoes sitting on a shelf in somebody's store that I've never seen. I don't know the name of the store. We were just walking down the street. It was random, but not really, because God is not a random God. He doesn't work random. So I needed y'all to know how God will orchestrate things so that you can have the desires of your heart. And just like I desire to have custom Chucks, Jonah desired to be a pro basketball player. And look at what God has done. I don't know what you're dreaming about. I don't know what it is that you might want to do. But listen, God is already making moves on your behalf. Pastor Kennedy preached it one day. The king has one more move. God is already making moves on your behalf. You don't have to know how he's orchestrating it. All you've got to do is follow his direction. All we did was walk down the street. And I left there not just with the shoes, but the man had a photo book and he gave it to me for free that he made with the pictures he took. Put it in my hand and said I could have it. He told me Merry Christmas, it's the holidays. I don't know what your dreams are. I don't know what you've been asking God about. I don't know what it is. You want like Cinderella. You hear me? They said like Cinderella, a whole celebrity, and he is. Listen, and God will orchestrate things. All you got to do is believe that God is going to do what he said he would do and keep the faith. Let me see. Tyler said, when y'all ready to fly private, call me. I'd love to have the Radabars as a client. You already know, because I'm looking to go again. This won't be my only trip traveling wherever you are. Thank you so much for doing this with your mom, y'all. My baby boy came through. He in the other room, y'all. But anyway. Hi, Mother Willie Taylor. Love you. I'm so glad that you came through, and I'm going to ask you to do, let me wrap up 3 good points I got from him, you guys. Don't underestimate yourself. Don't forget to appreciate. Don't forget to appreciate where you are in the journey. And then the last one, don't give up. Girl, my heart is full too. Don't give up. God gives us dreams, and we have to some point stop chasing them and catch them and live them. And that's what Jonah is doing. He has chased this dream, and we're not done. There's more to come, and I still believe God told me to tell him last year or the year before that he was going to do a new thing. God doesn't have to do things the way we think they are to be or the way we've envisioned them exactly. God has his own way because he's got a little something extra because he knows what we don't know. So he put a little spin on there for you. Woo! And go ahead and mess you up. So Jonah, you get to have the last thing. What would you say? Now that you are doing this, what have you learned about yourself in the journey? On this whole, from way back to just this time in Germany, in Sweden, whichever. What have you learned about yourself? What do you know for sure about Jonah Radabaugh that you didn't know before?
Dang. I've learned a lot about myself, but I think the biggest and most important thing is probably that I'm built for this. Like I am built for whatever it is that will come my way, whatever it is that that doesn't work out, or whatever situation I'm in. Like I'm built to handle those situations. I'm built to like change into whatever I'm needed to make it through where I'm at and where I'm going. Like I was just telling JD, my college teammate who's playing in Spain, like I told him, like, I'm a chameleon. Like I'll whatever it is, coach needs me to do this, I'll do that. Like if I gotta be this person to get into this situation or to make it through this situation, then I can do that. And like that's what I've learned about myself, is that I can change to be whatever it is to get through the situation. And I have those tools in my bag. They deep in my bag, and my bag goes deep. And I got it.
I love it. Listen, built for this. And let me explain to y'all. Y'all give us 2 more minutes. Let me explain to y'all the built for this thing, the chameleon thing. Jonah left high school being a scorer. Okay. If he touched the ball, he was getting points. He went to college and figured out that if he became a defensive player, he'd get more play time. Y'all, he played like, I don't know, 30 minutes. He played through the games because he became a defensive player, because defense was what that team needed. He became the defensive player of the year for 3 out of the 4 years. Yeah, he got gypped. We know that other one was his too, but it's all good because he learned how to adapt. Don't be afraid to transform, to get new tools in your bag. And he picked up something new, and that new thing took him through college. And now here he is. Your Uncle Jay is on here. Livy said, built bar tough. Listen, bar is life. That's Radabaugh. This is what we do. And God is so good that he helps us to do it. Jonah, thank you, thank you, thank you. I am going to be back in the States, if the Lord say the same, on Sunday. So I won't be here for the next game. But I'm telling you, this has been a dream come true. Your dream, my dream. It's been my dream to see you guys live your dreams. And I have had the opportunity to see each and every one of my children. I've seen Livy perform, Dion sing. I've seen Jared go into the Hall of Fame. Seen Jordan wearing that whole college team out as a quarterback and now going to med school. Hannah Dance. I mean, I don't know what else there is to ask for, but whatever else God has, we're here for it. Listen, you guys, thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Freedom Friday. I pray that you have an amazing Christmas, that you just enjoy life. And listen, don't miss the moment, because there's some moments that you'll never get them back, and they're priceless. Don't miss the moments. Livy says she's proud of you, and we are getting out of here. Do me a favor. Don't forget to like, to share, help somebody else be encouraged and motivated to keep chasing their dreams. And as long as God's not done, you're not done. Y'all have a great one. We'll see you. Bye, Anna. You have an amazing Christmas. Thank you, Tweety. And I'll still be chatting in the comments. If you have any questions for Jonah, for me, just hit us up. I love you guys. This has been another amazing episode of Freedom Friday. Holla at your girl. Holla at this pro basketball player here in Germany doing his thing. Yeah, he's like man of the match, every other match, been the MVP. I mean, he's doing what he do. He's doing what God built him. Listen, built for this. I love it. Love you. We'll see you guys. Bye.